So for the first time in my life investing, I saw a company, I saw a sector, and I did my stock picking, and I could explain easily why that stock could be 100-bagger.
Hello and welcome back to the next Big Rush. I have here somebody who is a brilliant asymmetric investor and somebody who probably has an IQ that's like twice mine. So welcome, Dr. Daniel Salomão.
Hello, nice to be here.
Okay, my first question to you, Daniel. You were very early to uranium. I don't know how many years you've been in the trade, but you were early enough that you saw really great opportunities years ago. What is your opinion today of the uranium trade? Is it less interesting than when you entered it? Is it more interesting? Can you tell me your opinion of uranium in 2025?
Sure. First of all, I'm a Brazilian investor, and I'm in the stock market for more than 20 years now. And I developed many ways to invest, to speculate in the market, and asymmetric trades are today my specialty. So I'm always seeking, started in Brazil stock market with Vale, that's iron or mining company, one of the biggest of the world, when iron ore was $38 per ton. After that, it just got a rush to more than $100, and I was in Vale at that time, and started to study mining stocks and natural resources stocks as well. But I was studying energy stocks, and I met uranium. It was about 2018, 2019. And I wasn't a global investor yet at the time. I was just investing in Brazil. And in 2019, second half of the year, I opened an account in the US and started trading worldwide stocks. And I was studying uranium at that time, but didn't have any kind of exposure to the thesis. So I started studying and made a portfolio that I carried since then. A few adjustments here and there, but the main of the portfolio is the same. And it is really asymmetric until today. I think that we got some very interesting moments. First of all, I say that the stocks ran before the thesis developed, because it was like a rush. Everybody was putting money in everywhere. You remember that monkey gifts that were worth $1 million.
Twitter was on fire with uranium investors. I remember.
And uranium was just a very compelling idea in trading. So I think many started to pour in money on the sector, and it just went very high, but before the thesis really ran. So today we have not so asymmetrical trade. You can see, for example, a chemical that was, I think, $7 USD when I got, and last week it hit $80. So it's a 12-bagger since then. It's a very good stock. I think it's going to go higher, but the asymmetry is not so compelling that there was when I saw it. But we have now a different scenario, because I think the supply and demand scenario is much more compelling now, because we saw like Boss announcing yesterday that they didn't hit. They're going to have the costs much higher. Mm-hmm. We saw Global Atomic with problems.
Just a disaster. Mm-hmm.
So we have two players here: the suppliers and the utilities, and we have a problem because we have more chances of disrupting the supply side, it's much higher than the demand side. So it's much it's easier to see a mining stock or a mining company get in trouble, losing a license, delaying projects, accidents in development. So you have many exposures. And then the other side is a utility selling energy with contracts of 50 years, 40 years, and we have deep pockets, so they pour billions on the projects and they have to pay it back, so they can't stop. It's very different, the exposure. And now we have a problem, because if you put everything that it can be mined today, you still have a tight equilibrium. So probably now that SMRs are just getting on the boat, we're going to have a big rush, because you can't just have enough uranium for everyone. And I'm saying about 2 years now that who is going to fund the SMRs companies? Probably the AI companies. So they have infinite money, because they have hundreds of billions of cash to put on the sector. And I think they're going to be the ones that are going to take this from the projects, from the paper, and just put it on real world applications. So today we have the sector is not well adjusted. So you're going to have a lack of supply soon. I think in 1 or 2 years we're going to hear about it. And the SMRs are getting to the party now. So what are we going to see?
It's in nobody's forecast.
Yeah. We have to build the SMRs with 5, 7, 10 years of fuel upfront. And we have 2 years of the cycle of the fuel. So if you are saying about SMRs being deployed in the end of this decade, we have to wait until 2027, 2028, they are going to be buying lots of uranium. So they're going to access this market. They're going to be to call for purpose, and we have the utilities are not covered yet, and they're going to have a contracting cycle for the next 4 or 5 years. So I think they're going to dispute this uranium, and then we are going to see skyrocketing prices. Why? Because we have supply deficit for the next years. It's math. Everybody knows that. Suppliers know that, mining stocks, utilities, everybody knows, because the numbers are still public. Okay, we have a mined supply that are in inventories and 1 billion of uranium pounds, but it's not mobile. We can't just touch it. You can't buy it. It's
not like nations worldwide are all going to decide to sell their uranium because it's a national security issue.
Especially if you are in the lack of supply scenario. Who is going to sell if everybody's trying to buy? So the supply squeeze that you're going to see, it's going to be the first of the history, because we never got any a deficit that's really big for the sector, because just a few windows time frames on the past, but it was not so important, the nuclear energy like today. And we are in the world that's putting it's going higher, the consumption of energy now, especially with the AI era that we're just beginning. So if you look for US, they're going to require 10% of the energy usage today just for AI to next 4 or 5 years. And they are just the big consumer of the world of energy, electricity. So we are going to see something that's unprecedented. We don't have how to measure it. We are going to see, and nobody knows where the uranium price is going to hit. Nobody knows. Nobody. So we are going to see something develop in the next years, what I call it's not the uranium, lack of uranium on the spot market. That's not the case. Some utilities are going to try to buy uranium, and the suppliers will say, we don't have uranium to give for the next 4 or 5 years, 6 years. And we're going to the next one. So we're going to take downstream on the tiers, tier 1, tier 2, and we start to get some rush because they will see some miners saying, okay, in 5 years, 10 years, I will have uranium for, I don't know, $120 a pound, 150, we don't know. But we are going to require everybody at any price. So we're going to down the tiers and go upstream the prices. And the last pound traded on contracts, we're going to set the price of the uranium. And I hope some companies I own, they don't sign contracts for all the production. Just wait to be the last one. I don't know how it's going to go. Mining is very complex. Mining is not for beginners. Mining is a very difficult world in investing. I know it. But I have a conviction that the prices are going much, much higher. If people say the gold rush, silver rush on stocks, I think that's going to be just a little... the size of the movement is going to be much, much higher in uranium. So I'm bought for this. I'm paying for this. I bought my tickets to see the show. I with my popcorn now for 6 years. I have some 10 baggers on my portfolios. DPLO in core energy now it's down a little bit. Global too was much higher, but we are going to see the sector as a whole going further, I think. Who is already big now, market cap very big, is not going to be a 10-bagger, probably. I can assure that. But mid-size, second-tier developers, I think they just going to hit higher.
Regarding the prices of the stocks versus, say, the spot price of uranium, if there are, and I'm with you, I love developers, like that is what we call in Brazil, that's my beach, right? Like that's what I like to have fun in, and where I've made the most money in. So I continue to focus more on either pounds that I know that are in the ground and they are historical, that I'm just waiting for them to be proven up, or pounds that have been proven up throughout the last number of years that I believe will go into production in this next cycle. But like you said, there are so many issues with bringing a uranium mine into production. Boss has just come out with problems. Global Atomic with massive issues in Niger, financing, et cetera, et cetera. There is also a couple in, I believe, the US Peninsula is always like, hey, we're going to produce. Actually, we're not going to produce. And then Encore Energy also like, hey, we're going to produce this much, but actually we're only producing this much. And, if you go down the list, you will have serious problems with each one of them so far. Wouldn't it make more sense if somebody were to enter this thesis today to be more exposed to the price of uranium itself versus the developers? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think it's a very good way to get exposure to the sector is buying uranium, because that's the main question, that the prices have to go higher. So it's a safer bet, and especially because we have the instrument that is put, that's uranium, it's the vehicle that we can buy physical uranium, and it's sometimes get a big discount to the net asset value. So that's an easy trade. You just wait it to plumb, and when you start to get a 10, 15% of discount, just buy it. Because at least when the sentiment turns, it's going to reach the NAV. So at least you get like 10. It's the margins of safety. So you have a good margin to speculate on that. And yes, I think in every portfolio should have a little bit at least of physical uranium. It diminishes the volatility of the portfolio, and we have like they are going to raise. So the uranium price is going up, and then the stocks are going to pass, and we have this who's ahead. Every time it changes. Not every time. It's a cycle of 1 year and a half. It's just the performing of the stocks go higher, the miners, and then the physical uranium. And it's, I think, much room to go yet. So buying with a discount is very, very compelling for someone that's not in the sector yet. And much less, the prices, they are so less volatile. So I think it's a good manner to start on the sector, especially today, because this put just ran and then got down again. We have discount today. So it's nice to have a little bit of it.
I have recently heard that you are also interested in graphene. Graphene is a strange material that I've been hearing a lot for the last week, 2 weeks. But when I first heard it, it was through a friend of mine more than 10 years ago. And they told me this is a material that is going to revolutionize technology and the world that we know today. And I said, sure, yeah, okay. And then I set it aside. I put it in the same box as, maybe someday. And now it's coming back. That thesis is coming back. There seems to be some technological breakthroughs that have happened recently, maybe. And so I want to know what your thoughts are for graphene and why are you exposed to this thesis and why now? Because graphene is always like the material of the future. Why is it interesting today?
Okay, I'm going to tell a little history to explain the thesis. I love periodic table, the elements. I teach this for my children, and I really like. I used to say that I like mining because I just seek for copper, for silver, uranium, and you have carbon. So it's just it's the most beautiful element is carbon because we are made of it. Most of the life biology requires this little piece.
I know I'm made of hydrocarbons.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because it's a chemistry question because this atom can bind very strongly with four connections, and we have in nature basically more, of course, many others, but if you get a pure carbon, you're going to see two main kinds. It's diamonds and graphite. So it depends on the structure that you are just naturally binded. So the diamond's more like a 3D structure. And we see graphite and graphene, they are just 2D, 2 layers. And the main difference is because graphene is just a few layers. You can take a post-it, that block of post-it, see, like 1,000, yeah, exactly, 1,000 layers, that would be graphite. So, and if you take 10 layers, you can call it graphene. So it's a 2D structure, but it's one element only. And this in nature. And graphene was really, it was known many, many years ago because people said, okay, we have graphite and layers of carbon, but we could use just a layer to see how it responds for conductivity or strength and many things. So it was theoretical, but nobody got the graphene yet. And in 2004, two scientists that just could take a duct tape and start to take layers of the graphite and got one layer. So they isolated a graphene sheet. And they started to make some experiments. And it was really, really amazing what they found. So when they started publishing the achievements of their studies, everybody just got stunned and said, what? What are you telling me? It's most strength. The strength surpasses like steel 800 times, 1,000 times, and it's more conductive. The electrons passing through this structure is like 800 times better than copper that we use. And I can do in theory, I can do like super alloys that are like bulletproof and many things. And for coatings, you can just put on things to protect from the radiation and radio signal and many things. So they started to make experiments. It was going very well because on the lab, you have high purity graphene and start to do little samples and see how amazing. So the community, the investing community got just very excited about it and we got the first hype of graphene. But there is a little thing that people didn't realize at the time, that graphene is not a commodity because we have many different kinds of. I can have a bigger, a little sheet. I can have 5 layers, 10 layers. More than 20 layers, some people don't call graphene anymore. So, but yes, you can call because you have different applications depending on the sizing that you're going to do. And they started to put, trying to put on industries, and it got everything wrong. So I'm going to do a very, very resistant alloy, but it's just not the opposite. It's like it's got very, very, it's breakable. It's not resistant. So they start to say, okay, this is just not working. Graphene is not what people say it is. But some companies started to sell graphene. At United States, they started selling and it wasn't working. So one day, a group said, okay, we're going to study, to take the samples and to see if there is graphene on it. And most of the sellers were not selling graphene. They were selling like graphite powder.
Wow.
So they made a powder of graphite. And when you put this on your alloy, on your lubricants or anywhere, you're just going to put like dirty on your experiments. So it's very, very bad.
You just make everything worse and you charge a lot of money for it.
So it got burned, graphene. Okay, so nobody wants to hear about graphene anymore. And that was the point when a second generation of companies started to arise, and they saw the problems. You have to get a high purity graphene sample. You have to do always the same batches because the quality matters here, because the applications are ultra high specific. So you can't just put any graphene everywhere. So that was a second time people, industries, researchers were just learning about graphene. And on the last decade that it was developing, this science, this graphene science is just developing each time better. So I started to study graphene batteries, and it was really compelling because the time for charge is just a fraction. The life of the battery is much higher, 3 times higher, and we have a high density in potential for graphene batteries. And lithium got like 20 years for large usage in batteries, but graphene is just going very, very fast, these studies, because we need good batteries today. And it's something that I think when we solve it, the EVs are really going to take off. They're just trying to go, but we don't have the batteries that are sufficient for this transition. I'm not a clean energy bug, nothing like this. I'm just skeptical, and I study everything, and I'm going to put my money on things that are going to get higher. So graphene is really a compelling thesis today. And I started to study the companies that say they have graphene. So it was many many months studying each one, hearing the CEOs, the technical team, if they have any kind of publishing. And I got some companies and started to really investing in 2023, January. So it's 2.5 years now. And I got some companies that I like. They have many different kinds of producing the graphene. Some are easier, some are energy intensive. Others, they have products that they are using the graphene on their own products. It's difficult because you have a higher capex, you have to have more cash, you have to, it's much difficult. But other companies, they want to sell just the graphene, okay? Not batteries, not lubricants, so just the graphene. And I think it's a very good opportunity because the price of graphene is something really off the charts. It's like $250,000 for a ton, up to $800,000 for a ton. So we have some producers that they claim they can have like 80% margins, operational margins. Yeah. So every time you compare with a new segment, a new industry, and they say they have industrial, but they have 80% margins, that's one explanation for this. Their product, they are very, 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 very high priced. But we know economy. We know just to give time for the sector and the industry, and these margins are going to collapse. That's the rule. We can't wait anything different from this. But we have a unique question here. Why doesn't a good producer of graphene today sell graphene yet? Because I have the sample, but nobody wants to hear about graphene again. And I have to slowly to conquer new clients or potential clients. And they have to hear about it.
And we have to reconvince them because they've heard everything before and it didn't work.
And this time they want the samples to try on their labs, try, retry many times, and you give me many deliveries. So I'm going to see if it works many times, and to study if the quality is that the one that you're saying. So we have now a period, a lapse of time that they are getting approached, the sellers and the potential buyers. And what is so unique in graphene? They are developing the science, the usage. It's not like, give me some bunch of copper, of silver. It's not this. And when we see the plastic era, rubber, plastic, aluminum, there was a curve of application. At the first time, when these elements, these products, they arrive the market, the prices are really high. And then we start to use on high level, high priced applications, and then it's going downstream and just getting more common. The graphene, we have a lag because if you use graphene from a supplier and you have a contract, you're going to change. You have to do all that process again. So this time is different because in the long term, the prices are going down. The margins are going to compress. But you have a good bunch of years when the first movers are going to deliver the graphene at high prices. They are going to have high margins. They don't have competitors yet because these products are really, really specific. So the graphene is not the same from different producers. So you have a unique product. So you have many kinds of monopolies together. See?
Nice.
Each product is going to be a monopoly. So a company may have 5 monopolies of the market, and everybody that wants to buy that kind of graphene is going to require from them. And I think we're going to have a period of years that we are going to have high margins, high prices for some producers that are going to give to grow very fast their deliveries, their revenues. And when they come, the world, the investing world, see, wow, these margins are unmatched. 80% is like NVIDIA margin, but NVIDIA doesn't produce the chips. They're just the dealers, see? But in this case, it's the developer, it's the industry that's going to have these margins. It's like TSMC have these margins. The industry players don't have these margins, but we are going to have a period of time that an industry player just ramping up production is going high margin, high growth. So the market is going to give multiples for these companies very, very high. This is what I wait. But these companies are very tiny market size companies today. They're just starters. So we have two special kind of exposures here. A pre-operational company that's going to print money, to print cash very soon. And when you compare this potential to the market cap today is much higher. And if you price these companies like industrial company, the multiples, they are very low. But when you see a growing company, you are going to put higher multiples. So you have two kinds of gains here. Having your cash back from a free cash flow, and the market is going to pay a price. So it's one of the most compelling investment theses I ever saw in my life, because I'm going to gain twice. And this company, I think they're going to reach some billion market cap. One that I like, just saying an example here. I have HydroGraph Clean Power since January 2023. And I got some stocks when the market cap of this company was $20 million.
Wow.
$20 million. And today, if you have one big client buying 1,000 tons, that's not impossible. They say they're going to have sometime soon a contract with 1,000 tons. One contract, 1,000 tons. Let's put not 20 to 250, not 800, like 400 million with one client. We have 80% of margins. So we're going to have a potential cash generation of $300 million. But when I bought the company, it was $20 million. So if you get this multiple, the cash generation and but 5 times, so we have a 1.5 billion company. It's a 75 bagger from my starting price. See, so for the first time in my life investing, I saw a company, I saw a sector, and I did my stock picking, and I could explain easily why that stock could be 100-bagger, but not after 30 years growing. No, just like 5 years, maybe 10 years, I don't know, maybe less. I could have 100-bagger in my hands. And I'm seeking for 100-bagger for the last 25 years. So I got really excited about this investment. But we have a problem now. I see graphene now, everybody asking me about graphene and what's happening. And I see like in X and other social medias, everybody's speaking about graphene. So maybe we are getting into a hype again. I don't know. I don't know when it's going to move, because it deserves to move, the stock prices. When you have a contract, when you're going to have a cash flow, I don't know. But now, at this moment, the prices of all the sector just jumped in 2 weeks without anything new.
No news, just excitement.
Yeah, excitement. So when you see from a rational investor perspective, you just say it's worse now to get in, because it's the asymmetry is much worse now, because you have like 1 and you're going to 50. Wow, 50-bagger. But if you start from 10 first, you can go all the way back to 1, so it's much riskier. And your 10 is going to get to 100. So we have a tenfold. So I don't like to buy at this specific moment that we are now. The prices are ultra volatile. The volatility is like on the roof. So when the prices go up, just say, okay, I'm just going to watch, to wait. Wait just for the things to set down and see where these prices are going to be. And I think when we really start to get cash flows from these companies, we have already companies with cash flow on the sector, but they are higher, the market cap's higher, and from my point of view, are not the best that I would invest now. Okay, we can have a stake there, but it's not the most compelling stock I found. And I'm just waiting for the sector to melt down for continue buying because I'm buying for these 2 years, but a little bit each month. So it's not something that I jumped in. Okay, I have a sizable position today of the thesis on my portfolio. Yes. Single name alone is much higher than the other stocks, like uranium stocks. In my portfolio today, graphene is number 1 on size of a name, because in uranium I just diversified much more. So I have many names, but graphene I don't see many names that are investable. So you just concentrate more. So of course, the single names are much higher now. So graphene was like disappointment for a period of time. It's plannable. It's understood. You can't just explain what people didn't want to touch graphene anymore. Now it's just getting better, the history and the story. And I think we are going to have much attention for this, because you have super batteries, you have super materials, lighter, stronger. So I think we have much room space for innovation with graphene. And this is a rising sector. So the applications are going to explode, and we have a multi-billionaire addressable market with just a few companies that have patents, that they have method, they are for many years in the market giving samples. So they are going to be the first ones to have contracts, I think. So it's in a good timing for the thesis, I think. Better than 2 years ago, of course. Last month, it was the best
last
time
month.
Not now.
Just
not
before,
2 years
just
ago.
before I bought. Yeah, no. I
Go back time.
I am dipping my toes slowly into this thesis. And it completely scared me off because I bought and the price immediately shot up. And then I'm like, whoa, I wanted to buy a little bit more. I just wanted to, clip a little bit. And I was planning to buy a little more, but like you, I kind of hope that it goes down. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe the hype just dies down and people start to take profits. That would be ideal. Nothing related to the underlying asset or the underlying thesis would be ideal. But yeah, I am watching and looking to buy more because, like you said, it's if you find a company that has patents that could be so useful that they sell billions of dollars worth of material, and you can buy it, for such a small price. This is the stuff that we dream about in the mining sector, but it takes 20 years. And as it takes 20 years, it dilutes. So if we can avoid the 20 years and the dilution of 20 years and, go to market much faster, these are essentially tech companies. They're both materials companies and industrial, but they're also tech companies. Their moat is tech. And so that is really attractive to me because if you take a look historically at the biggest returns on most people's investment, except for the cyclicality of boring commodities, which is what we try to play as well, it's tech. Tech is always something that goes beyond, the bread and butter investments. And so, yeah, I'm very excited about that too, but only starting slowly. Hopefully, I'll be able to build a bigger position in the coming months. But I want to thank you, Dr. Salomão, because I like how you give context to what you are investing in, why you're investing in. I think people are really going to enjoy the way that you think is really smart. And yeah, if people want to follow you and maybe find out, a little bit more of the companies that you're investing in, where can they go?
Just make a story on X. Mark me there.
Okay.
People follow you there, and they find me there. I'm
Find
mainly
him
on
there.
X because my Instagram account is in Portuguese, so I don't
It's
think
okay.
much
We don't do
related. And
Instagram.
my X is a global account, so I write most in English there.
Cool.
I don't speak English very well because I don't have people to speak to.
You can come on my channel every month. There you go.
But I can read, I can write, I can interact in this way.
Awesome.
Everyone that wants, just go there and we're going to chat.
And hey, next time you find a really crazy asymmetrical opportunity, let me know because you're always early, and early pays off.
Okay. Maybe one more. We just chat.
Yeah. Let's chat in private, and then we'll record
it. Okay.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.